Just some thoughts on the Springboks victory over Ireland at Loftus on Saturday. And you'll notice today I'm not wearing any glasses because I've been told that they're too reflective for the video. Anyway, so I can't see anything, but it hopefully looks a little bit better. Geez, what a test match. I think anyone who witnessed that will attest that that was what everyone hoped it would be and what the whole hype of the match was building up to be. It was physical, fast, aggressive, full of running rugby, full of physical rugby, and came down to the wire, which is, I think, what most people who really enjoy these type rivalries want to see, rather than, a blowout or a match that goes one way too early. And firstly, that national anthem was arguably one of the best ones I think most people have probably ever seen. But back to the rugby, I thought the Springboks were sharp. They looked like they had just picked up their form from the World Cup final. That first game against Wales, you could see there were some cobwebs that were being shaken off by the Boks, despite looking really good and winning quite convincingly. This side, you can see, snapped straight back into that World Cup winning mentality. They knew Ireland were going to be a problem, and they couldn't give them any inch to play. So they were aggressive on the rush defense. They were tough in the set pieces. There was minimal errors. There was great discipline. So I thought the Boks looked sharp, which was a very promising sign. On top of that, they were also, you could see the influence of Tony Brown coming in. The Boks from the get-go were playing a wide, expansive game, looking for those outside channels and having the loose forwards working with the wingers in those kind of outside center channels. I mean, Peter Steph-Tutori got the ball quite early down the right wing and popped it over the top to Colby, I believe it was. You can see they're looking for that offload. They're looking for that connecting play or that ball back inside, which is really cool to see. And it's obviously Tony Brown giving the Boks license to play, which then obviously resulted in the first try, which Curtly Arendse, I think within 2 minutes, I thought he was going to, I think everyone was hoping he would get a one-on-one with the young Irish boys, Calvin Nash and Jamie Osborne. And within 2 minutes, the first move, he smokes Nash on the outside and sidesteps inside Jamie Osborne. So again, Curtly Arendse is just an absolute weapon for the Boks when he's put into space. And I think they know that if they can play tight and suck in defenders and then get the ball out to Arendse early, it's almost a guaranteed 7 points. But props must go to the back line for moving that ball so nicely. I think it went through Pollard, Leroux, Dialendi and Khaleesi had a nice little catch and pass straight to Arendse. So you can see the Boks skill set is going up a notch, even if it's early days. However, the skill sets and training is being managed around that seems to be already paying off. You could see even the forwards were little tip-ons, inside balls, things like that. So I think the Boks are evolving the way they're moving the ball around the field, not just relying on the playmakers. So obviously the Springboks were playing really nice rugby throughout the majority of the game. And then obviously the bomb squad came on, a kind of new bomb squad, a bit of a different makeup, but what an impact those boys had. I mean, straight into that scrum that absolutely demolished the Irish and gave the Springboks a penalty try. I don't think I've seen a scrum move that rapidly backwards in a long time. And unfortunately, the Irish did collapse it and Luke Pearce gave a penalty try, which I think was the right call. I mean, that was going to result in a try either way. So very positive signs for a new bomb squad makeup with some different players in there, but still delivering the exact same intensity when they came on. On that, I thought a shout out to referee Luke Pearce, who I thought had a really, really good refereeing game. I thought he kept the momentum of the game flowing. He called things that needed to be called and left things that didn't really need to be brought up. There were two incidences where Khaleesi ran over Rob Henshaw, and he kind of just stopped the game to ensure that there was safety in place for Henshaw, who did seem to take a bit of a knock when he went down, but no cards were handed out. It was just a rugby incident, which was great to see. And same with Craig Casey, who took a knock to the head when Snyman cleared him out from the back of a ruck, but kind of just ensured that he was safe. The game plays on. It was just a rugby incident, which I thought Luke Pearce was really great, despite some criticisms about his calls. I think he got everything spot on, and he made sure that the game flowed without any long TMO hiccups or any back and forth investigations. The only thing he needed to bring up was a disallowed try to James Lowe, unfortunately for him. but it was the right call because there was some fiddling in the ruck. So I thought he did a fantastic job. Luke Pearce, I think, is one of the best referees in the world at the moment, and he definitely deserves a lot more test matches. And I was just thinking about this. The game was so close despite seeming like the Boks were dominating most of it. And I think a lot of the tries came from quite opportunistic moments. The penalty try was a great moment for the Boks. It probably wasn't something planned, but if you get points however you can. And Colby chasing that botched line-out, attempted line-out save from James Lowe, throwing the ball back inside, Colby kicking it through and dotting it down. While they're not extremely well-constructed tries, it just goes to show that the margin of difference between these teams is that small, that those are the type of things you need to rely on in order to score points. Them collapsing a scrum or getting a maul wrong or botching a quick line-out throw or making a concentration lapse, because as soon as the Boks, reset, Ireland kicked back off to them, you could see the concentration dropped a little bit. And there was that inside ball that led to Craig Casey's try, and there was another try down the left wing that was scored. So these teams are operating at such a level that they have to rely on these little concentration lapses or errors or small judgment mistakes that can produce a point. That's how competitive these teams are, is you have to rely on those small little things and put so much pressure on the opposition that they make a knock on or there's a high kick that they don't take, which it just goes to show how close these two teams are.